Dogs are becoming self-aware and they're having existential crises.
Oh. Okay. Hmm.
I'm just gonna say it right now. I think it's a crock of shit. I've taught a lot of dogs. I have 4 dogs in here right now that I have to teach all the time. And I'm pretty sure all of these behaviors this dog is doing with the buttons is learned behavior, and they're using correlation with the sounds of the words and the thing that they want.
Hey guys, so today's probably the weirdest topic I've talked about in a while, and I mean that with my whole heart. So today we're talking about a dog on TikTok, a famous dog, and his mental health issues. Subscribe to the bell icon for engagement. I'll just get into it. So, there's a TikTok account of a dog who is famous. I don't know how else to say this. You've probably seen him during the pandemic. This dog communicates through the use of buttons. It started with like 3 or 4 buttons, going out to the toilet, food, treats, blah blah. We've all tried it with our dogs. Don't lie to me, you ordered some buttons and you did the go out for toilet thing, and then you gave up because it was just like, why are we doing this? Anyway, this dog is called Bunny. Oh, it's a girl. Bunny's a girl. I don't know why I said him. Now it's going to the point where she has like 5 gajillion buttons, all with different words on them, like actual ways to build sentences.
Yeah, my dogs know tricks too, and they know about 40 different tricks that I could do with them, and they could do any of them back to back with almost no problem. I'd say they probably have 10, maybe 15 tricks down, little tricks like paw, right paw, left paw, both paws, sit, lay down, all the basic tricks. They know like 40 of them. They know wait, they know outside. It's because they correlate with the word, the sound of the word, not the actual meaning of the word. They don't know what the word means. They just know this sound comes out whenever I go outside.
I'm going to insert some clips for you guys. It's very difficult to describe what's going on, but just a lot of different buttons to ask different questions, ask for a cuddle, ask for a hug, ask what is this. Like, there are so many different buttons that are like, what is blah? Like, you know what I mean? And I just don't quite understand how this dog knows how to build full sentences.
All right, that one's a bit of a stretch because the dog doesn't form full sentences. It puts 3 words together that kind of resemble what a sentence could be if you added more words in there. But really, it's still just like, who this mirror? And whenever you point at the mirror and say who this, they correlate this button that says who this, and then who this mirror. Mirrors, I see reflection. Well, I have another video later, I'll show you.
Good. Who is good? Yeah, Bunny good. Yes, Bunny good. Yes, Bunny good. Dad play? Dad buy. Later. Dad play later. Dad play later. Do you want Mom play? Bunny want Mom play? Come tug? Okay. Let's play tug. Come here. Let's play tug. Let's play tug.
Yeah, you see how she initiated the word, and then the dog stood there confused, didn't know what she was talking about. Dog hits a random button. She's like, oh, you want to play tug? Pulls out the toy. Dog looks at it, and it's like, oh, toy. It doesn't actually, I mean, it might know tug as in tug is what means play or something. I don't know. But all I'm saying is the dog is not actually talking. The dog doesn't actually know language. It just knows what the sounds of the words are and the correlation to the thing that they want. And you can, and she's manipulating the dog in a way and manipulating the video in a way to make it look like the dog is actually wanting things and saying things, when really it's her putting those thoughts into the dog. Which I'm not saying that they don't think, I'm just saying it's not the same. They don't have the same, they don't conceptualize like we do. And they're incapable of it, and they will never be capable of it. It's just never gonna happen unless we genetically modify them. Yeah, she instigated the play with the tug toy, and then when the dog was like, oh, we're gonna play, it came over there to the toy, and she said, good, like reassuring that this was the thing that she wanted the dog to do. And that's how you teach dogs. Am I wrong? Because that's how I've been teaching my dogs. And this lady is dumbfounded by the fact that dogs are smarter than she thought they were. She must have some pretty dumb dogs, or she's just not teaching her dogs correctly.
That makes no sense to me. Like, what do you mean you know what is dog? Like, how do you know how to build that sentence? Or is it just an accident? Also, how do you know what... I also just, like, don't quite...
So if you tell the dog what is or who is, and then have them look at the mirror, and you tell them good, and you reassure them that's what you wanted them to do, the dog will correlate the sound of that word, or those words, with the mirror. So it'll say, who is dog? Like you've been teaching the dog to do, to look in the mirror. Which they're not actually looking in the mirror. They're looking at the mirror. They don't see themselves in the mirror.
Understand. How does dog remembers what button is where? Because obviously this dog can't read what it says on the button. So how does this dog remember what button means what? So is this all just like a massive accident we're all just getting played? I don't know.
I don't think she was actually watching this video, or she's stupid, or she's lying, because there are patterns and colors on those buttons that dogs can tell the difference between.
But recently she has been posting TikToks about how her dog is getting an existential crisis. Yeah, I'll play the TikToks for you guys.
Did you just say, who this? And then look in the mirror? Who this? That's Bunny. That's Bunny.
Okay, you definitely just said, who this go see.
Definitely just said, who this go see. After looking in the mirror.
And then watch as she confirms the dog does it, and then has the dog do it again, and then she's good, you know. She reaffirms the dog that it was what she wanted.
I'm gonna have to watch it back to make sure. Did you say who this? You wanna see? Look. Okay.
Existential crisis, and she's now since then made it a whole playlist of her dog asking, what is a dog? What is dog? And then staring into the mirror at herself. It's asking like weird questions about when she'll die, or that's what people think it is anyway. And there's now a whole playlist called like Existential Crisis. The owner of this dog has also written a book now about Bunny, like to do with Bunny. And that is a whole separate conversation of just like, so we've gone from like family vloggers to now exploiting your own dog for views, and now your dog has an existential crisis because you don't know when to stop buying buttons. So there's a mirror article about Bunny called Exclusive. Famous talking dog questions her existence and asks owner, when will I die?
Yeah, it's not like you couldn't just have the dog hit those buttons, them not knowing what the words actually mean in correlation to something that they want.
Alexis Devine from Seattle, US. Of course, this is happening in America. I love my Americans. I love my fellow Americans, but you guys just know how to do something and then you just... I'm going to buy my dog 50,000 buttons and now my dog is having an existential crisis. Taught her Pooch how to communicate and express her emotions. Now Bunny, the talking dog, is able to ask questions like, what dog is? And when no bunny. When Alexis Devine began training her Pooch to talk using a special button board, she never anticipated the types of thoughts Bunny would be able to express. But the 3-year-old Sheepadoodle has proven dogs can understand much more of the world than just treats, sticks, and games. From questioning her existence on Earth to referring to herself as human, Bunny has shared some highly intelligent and surprising beliefs. Alexis from Seattle, US told The Mirror, Bunny is able to communicate when she is concerned about something so that I can talk her through it, help her explore it, or just acknowledge it. As if this is a child, like just developing thoughts. If I'm not concerned, she can see that she doesn't need to be concerned either. Alternatively, she can tell me when she is happy with a certain game, human, or food, and this can inform me about how to positively affect her daily life going forward. I mean, this is great, but you can just read a dog's body language. Like if you give a dog food and they don't eat it, they're either not hungry or they don't like the food provided.
Okay, maybe this chick does know a little bit. Maybe she was just playing dumb in the beginning to, you know, get you thinking about this existential crisis this dog is going through. So she knows a little bit about like how dogs learn off of their body language, and that's exactly what this person is doing. They're just using the buttons instead of listening to the body language.
If a person comes along and they start baring their teeth, they don't like that person. Like dogs already have ways of communicating with us that you can just read up on and learn. Tucked tail means scared. Tail like this means, you know what I mean? Like there are just ways that dogs show us how they feel. You don't need a button, and you don't need to give your dog an existential crisis in order to understand them. Like you just focus on what your dog does. Bunny's famous TikTok account, What About Bunny, boasts 8.3 million followers, and the majority hail her a genius, though some have concerns about her thoughts. As well as expressing that she is big sad, Bunny has been captured repeatedly pushing the buttons when and no bunny, which Alexis took as a question on when she'd die. Now this is where I have to like, is she actually saying that? Because once again, I'm saying like, how does she remember what button means what? Maybe she's just pressing buttons, and like maybe she's like, maybe there's some things that she actually understands, like, oh, I want to go toilet, I want to cuddle, I want this, I want that. Maybe some of these buttons that she's pressing, she's just pressing for fun, for funsies, because she gets attention for it. You know, she presses a few buttons and she gets attention. That's how dogs learn to get attention from you. So like when your dog barks at you and you give it attention every time, it's going to keep on barking at you for attention. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's like some ulterior motive with the barking. It is just literally a way that the dog has learnt that it will get attention from you. Or like when people are like, oh my god, why is my dog so destructive? Why does my dog destroy everything in my house? And I'm talking like after puppy stage. When there's puppy stage, all rules go out the window. After puppy stage, if your dog has gone through training and you're like, oh my god, why is my dog destroying stuff? It can either be excess of energy, or it can be every time the dog destroys stuff, you raise your voice at it, or you talk to it, or you say something to the dog, and the dog's like, oh, when I destroy stuff, mummy talks to me. This might just be like she's reading too far into it.
Yep, I changed my mind, and I apologize to this woman, this beautiful young lady. You are correct. That is exactly what she is doing.
You know what I mean? Like, we're reading too far into this. My first interpretation was that Bunny was perhaps asking about death. It could have meant a million things though. But the most complex question that Bunny has asked Alexis so far is why her partner Johnny was leaving the house to get a takeaway. As soon as he walked out the door, Bunny ran to her board and pressed, "We love you, why went?" I interpreted this as, "We love you, Johnny, why did you leave?" This seems complex for many reasons. Usage of a group pronoun, an emotion, a question, and the past tense. Her body language seemed to mirror her verbal expression. Once I explained that Johnny would be back soon, Bunny settled right down. I think about this interaction a lot, but it's like, so why? How does she know what you're saying? This almost makes me lose my mind a little bit, because there is this idea, you know, when like you talk to your dog, you and me both know our dogs, if you're a dog owner, we know that the dogs don't actually know what we're saying. It sounds like, it sounds like Simlish, you know what I mean? The dog doesn't care what you're saying because it doesn't understand. What the dog cares about is your tone of voice while you're saying it. So if you're like, oh my god, wee, 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 the dog doesn't know that you just said, oh my god, wee, wee, wee. The dog just knows that your tone of voice was friendly. If you're like, oh my god, why did you do that? Dog doesn't know that you said, oh my god, why did you do that? Dog understands tone of voice stern.
That's not entirely true. They can definitely hear the difference in the sounds. They don't just hear wah, 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 because my dogs know the difference between no and go. But it also might be the context of the situation. But they definitely know the difference between and go, because that definitely sounds different to a dog. What language actually sounds like to a dog, it's probably more like if you only speak one language and you hear somebody speak another language and you just hear, that's probably what it sounds like. You could pick out certain words, you may not know what they mean, but you could correlate that word with the action that they're doing. That's what dogs do. I'm going to give you a really good example of this, in my opinion. So, somebody asks you if you want to go outside. What do you think? Do you think, oh, it's hot? Do you think about what the weather's like out there? You think about how long you're going to be out there. You're thinking about what you're going to be doing out there. All the dog thinks is...
Did you just say, who this? And then look in the mirror?
Why is the mirror there in the first place? Like, you know what I mean? Welcome back to part 2 of my series on animal cognition and communication. If you missed part 1, you can find that link down in the descriptions below, or possibly right up here. Can we put it up here? We'll put it up there. It's right here.
I've got this video linked down in the description. If you want to see her part 1, just go to that video and go into her description, because I'm not linking it.
This series is in response to a video I published 2 years ago on What About Bunny, the talking dog who had an existential crisis after looking in a mirror. If you don't know who Bunny is, she's a dog who many believe can speak English by pressing buttons. Bunny's existential crisis is one of the videos that many people claim is the best evidence that she is legit.
Did you just say, who this? And then look in the mirror?
I'm KP. I'm a marine biologist who specializes in animal training and behavior. Just like with part 1, I'm going to start by addressing some of the criticism of my original video. Specifically, that I should stick to fish, or that I've never owned a dog. Now, these are obviously attempts to dismiss my credibility, which I don't actually mind, because I do think that we all need to be critical on the sources that we take our information from, especially when it comes from social media. Whenever we consume content, we need to ask ourselves, is this source trustworthy?
Man, I don't trust nobody. Everybody's trying to lie to me all the time and get my attention and take my money. Fuck them. I don't trust nobody.
Quick disclaimer, this is my personal and professional opinion. We are not going to go harass other content creators for any reason in any way, shape, or form.
Did you just say, who this? And then look in the mirror? Who this? That's Bunny.
Why is the mirror there in the first place? Like, you know what I mean? That certainly feels like... We fast forward again, dog kind of wants to go outside. Yeah, that feels very much like she set that up to tell this story, to make this happen.
100% that's what she did. It was for the views. It was for the clout. It's for the money.
So my goal was actually to look at this video and talk about some of the really cool studies that have been done regarding canine cognition and self-awareness. But this video gave me a really weird vibe, so I decided to take a closer look. From a scientific evidentiary aspect, this video is gold because it isn't edited. There are no cuts, and we can clearly see Bunny's mom press 2 individual buttons. Who and this. If we rewind and zoom in, Bunny only presses 1 button, the button for this. Bunny never pressed the who button.
Uh-oh, retard alert. That bitch done got caught.